Hello from Gardening at Douentza here in Ireland, and welcome to the April greenhouse update. I'm going to start this update a little unusually by walking up and down the greenhouse. So I started at the very end where the door is, and now I'm walking down here across the middle, well, the back section, and then up the other side, just to give you an idea of the extent of the plants here and where they are situated, because I'm aware that I kind of give a strategic viewing of the greenhouse very often, and that's not what I'm doing today. Okay, so starting on this side of the greenhouse, just want to let you know what's new. And we have an epiphyllum cutting with lots of buds, and I'm very excited about this. This is a new Peterson hybrid that I won in a competition a while ago, so it's its first flowering, and I'm very excited to see what they turn out like. Taking a little scoot up the staging here, we have Agave attenuata looking good, Veltheimia, which has finished flowering now, and a couple of Gasteria which have flower spikes. In here we have a coral cactus, and I think it is about to flower. I think the flowers are quite insignificant, so it might have actually flowered already, and what we're looking at is the seed heads. I'm not quite sure, but it's an attractive looking plant even if it doesn't flower. Panning up this way, we can see that there are buds on this Ripsalis, is it a Ripsalis? Hatiora, sorry. Looks quite desiccated, but it's got buds. And my Cypripedium in a pot, which I was given last year as a present, is going to produce 2 buds there. So I'm really looking forward to that, for that to flower. And moving up, we have an Aloe that has a very tall flower spike. There it is. And down here we have Scilla peruviana, which this bee is very interested in, and that's a wonderful sight for this time of year. Now, despite its name, Scilla peruviana isn't from Peru, it's a Mediterranean plant, and it is a glorious blue. If we look down here, you can see that there is another flower spike coming, so that's all really good news. Over here we have Coelogyne cristata, and it's producing some fine clusters of flowers. That one there, which is absolutely beautiful, and a smaller cluster here, and over the other side we have this that's about to open. And really, this is a fantastic orchid for a cold greenhouse. And it's really a question of Beauty and the Beast over here. To the right we have the glorious Coelogyne cristata just coming into beautiful flower, but here we have quite a different character altogether. And this is an aroid, a dead horse arum, named because of the stench of its spathe when it opens, and here it is producing a spathe here. Now, this plant has flowered for me before, and I will link to that video up above. It's really something spectacular, and between that and the Amorphophallus, which I'll show you in a minute, I think I've got quite a number of stinkers here in the greenhouse. And as you can see up above, I have removed the bubble wrap from the ceiling of the greenhouse just to allow light to come in and to enable the opening of the windows during the day. And that's just kind of, well, it feels like spring is finally coming because we have that bit more light and that bit less wintry stuff. And this is my Beschorneria. Now it's sitting here at the back of the shelving, and there's a grid here on top, so it's gone up through where the Proteas are. Can you see a thread stem here? And up, and up, and up, and here it flowers. I didn't even notice it was in flower until Astrid was here and she pointed it out when we went around the greenhouse. So there you go, it's just near the end at this stage. Can we focus? Kind of like an aloe, these flowers. Down at the very end we have my Protea collection and the Beschorneria we just saw in flower. And moving up the greenhouse we have lots and lots of things. Now I really am not sure what to show you because there's so much here, so for next time if you're particularly interested in the update on a certain plant, it would be good if you jotted down the name below and then I could know what to concentrate on. There's Musschia, which is looking really well, and my King Protea, which is going to flower, as we know, with several buds. I did a potting job today and potted up a lot of the calla lilies. That's what those big pots down there are. And it's a bit late, April is a bit late to be doing them, but you know, better late than never. The pelargoniums are just beginning to wake up after the winter, so I'm gradually increasing their watering. And now we're panning up the lower shelving. Those are epiphyllums, which look a bit dehydrated, but I think they're okay. And my other succulents are here. They've had a little bit of water now at this stage. And some more. And various primulas. And that brings us to the end of the lower staging. And up here on the floor of the greenhouse we can see my Amorphophallus konjac, the one that Astrid modelled when she was over last. And the flower spike is just about to open here. You can see the way it's unfolding here, so it's going to be quite a stinker. But it's not very tall this year. It's not as tall as it was last time when it flowered, and I'm going to link to that video up above. But this isn't going to live in the greenhouse now. To tell the truth, I've just potted it up and I'm going to bring it into the house and keep it nice and warm just to get it going. Now, what I find with these plants is that when it flowers, it skips the following year because it doesn't have enough chance with the short summers here in Ireland to build up energy in the short time that it has leaves on display to make a bulb for the following year. And the leaves of course come after the flower spathe, so it's a very short window of opportunity for the plant to build up its corm for the following year. So this one probably won't flower next year, but the year after that. And again, I'm going to link to another video, and that is the one of Dimitri from the Green Nerd channel, just linking up above. He recently published a very interesting video about Amorphophallus in general, and he goes through the life cycle or the growth cycle of Amorphophallus konjac, which is very interesting, and there's no point in me repeating it here when he's already done it in another video. And hello again, I'm just adding this little bit on to the very end of my greenhouse update, and that's because I've received a few requests from people on plants they'd like an update on. And I'd just like to let everybody know that on my YouTube channel there is a tab now called Community, and in there I post polls and photographs and questions which I'd like answers to, like what would you like to see in my greenhouse updates. And some people were good enough to come along and tell me what in particular they would like to see. So here we go, and just do check out that tab in future. You might find something there that, you know, that's of interest to you. So somebody requested an update on my Sparmannia, and here it is. Now this is a glorious plant with enormous leaves, and in Ireland it's mostly grown for its leaves. This is one that you can plant out in the garden in summer, but it is tender, so you need to bring it under cover for winter. Now last year this one flowered for me around January time, and I will link to that video above, but unfortunately I've no sign of flowers this year despite the plant having been potted on. But it seems to be doing well and healthy, so that's good, and I'll enjoy putting this outdoors as part of my tropical display this year. Now somebody also requested an update on aeoniums, and I wonder, can you see that there is an aeonium in here, and several of them are producing flower spikes now at this time of year. That one there too, and that means that that particular rosette is going to die off, but it's okay, I have lots of them. Down here we can see another aeonium that, well, it's overwintering. It's coming into flower, and I think this is the velour one, I'm not quite sure, but it does have some kind of pest on it, something like aphids or something like that. So when the weather gets warmer, that's going outside and it'll get a good wash off. Now what I find with the aeoniums is that they get lighter in colour in winter, the dark ones that is, and that's from lack of light. And this one here really is quite greenish. Let's go and have a look at another one. Here we have another one up here, and what I've done recently is removed the dead leaves. You see how it happens here, the under leaves kind of die off, particularly in winter, whether it's to do with the cold or lack of light, possibly lack of light, and they just need to be cleaned out like that. I've started watering the aeoniums again, because aeoniums, they do like a lot of water. They can do without it, but they do well with it. And in fact, when I was in Tenerife, I saw a lot of aeoniums in very, very dry conditions, and they looked really awful. Yet any of us who've grown them know that they can put up with quite a lot of moisture and quite a lot of feeding. I do have a lot of aeoniums around the greenhouse, there, where we've just been, and some more down here on the floor, and that's nothing compared to the great mass of them which is here under the table. Can we get in here? You see, I have a crate here, and the aeoniums were dug up out of the garden last year and just placed in the crate, so they're horrible to get at and they're horrible to water. They're just kind of ticking over and making do. But well, I think they make do rather well. The Cypripedium orchid is really on the cusp of opening, as we can see, and I've been feeding this well with a liquid feed. I got it last autumn. The plan is for it to go into my hardy orchid bed, but I can't actually see where I have anything planted there because everything's dormant, so I'll wait until things come up and then plant this one out, perhaps after flowering. But two good flowers coming here, and I can't wait to see them. We're now looking at a begonia, believe it or not, and it's a begonia called Begonia luxurians, a species one, and a most fantastic one. Now a lot of people grow this as a house plant. I have one indoors, but I'm experimenting with overwintering it in the greenhouse, and it has come through, although I've lost several canes. See, that one there is kind of withered, but you can see. Now you mightn't think it's begonia, but if you look closely at the canes, then you see exactly what plant it is. Very, very tall plant. So that was an update for the lady who asked for an update on begonias. and someone requested an update on my pelargoniums. Now, I kind of already gave this, but since making the last part of the video, this hybrid Penny Dixon has come into glorious flower, and she really is pretty. Look at her contrasting there with the Coelogyne over the other side of the greenhouse. So I just thought I'd finish this little extra bit with, well, a view of Penny Dixon. And that kind of brings us to the end of this video. You can see that buzzy bee doing its work and really focusing on the Scilla down there. I hope you liked it. I hope you'll check back again. I hope you'll tell me what you want to see in the next greenhouse update. And that's all for now. Bye.